On 1st and 10, it's Roethlisberger. This one complete, right side to McDonald. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Now a carry for the former Michigan State man, Le'Veon Bell. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
I know every time we watch Le'Veon Bell play, we think about him making people miss the hesitation move. But you remember, he came out of Michigan State as a bruiser and a thumper, and he still has those capabilities.
At 225 pounds, an underrated part of his game. And they'll keep it on the ground with Bell. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 12 yards that time, and a Pittsburgh first.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Now a 1st down carry by Bell. Dances by at the 20. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell, 48 yards. And the Steelers have taken a first-quarter lead. Chris Boswell now for the extra point. Boswell good with the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. Boswell on now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. On 1st down, it's Smith. Oh, he's going to air it out right. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. A gain of 32 that time.
Well, there's simply no sense in wasting a great catch like that on a short gain. Get downfield like you just did there and use it up that way.
No dink and dunk. Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. Here's Smith throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
Nice little nifty play for him there. That's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backside of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we got everybody oh, he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice 1st down there.
What do we love to say? Get those backs into space, right? And they were able to do that there. Nice pickup on 1st down. Now a 1st down throw. It's Smith. Flushed out right. Wide open receiver complete. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 to the 5-yard line. He got 29 yards that time. They'll run with Peterson. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. Adrian Peterson, a 5-yard touchdown run. And the Redskins are an extra point away from tying this thing up. So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Well, let's take a closer look at the start that the Steelers have had this season as they come back onto the field here. We talked about it. They're 0-1-1. The tie to the Browns, the loss to KC, and now all of a sudden you got the Ravens coming in, and that looks like a game now that they can't really afford to lose.
And they don't want to look ahead. They need to focus on the Ravens and find a way to get a win. But if they do, after that, they're home for Atlanta, and then they're at Cincinnati, who's jumped into the fray this year as a contender in the AFC North. So plenty of work for the Steelers to do. Too early to give up on them. Their pedigree's too good, but it's not too early to focus in on Baltimore. They need this win.
And the AFC North looking a lot more intriguing than most thought a couple of weeks ago. On second down, it's Bell. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. Getting the sense Charles are going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far is working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around at 42.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Roethlisberger will throw. And he's got his man, the tight end, McDonald. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. And how about the dime look here? 6 DBs on 3rd and inches.
Daring them to run the ball.
They'll try and run for it with Bell. And he's got the first down yardage as he takes it down to the 49. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. In Washington territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. To throw here, Roethlisberger. Throw left side, complete to Smith-Schuster. That one goes for 24 yards.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man. Because now you're running away from someone, and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Roethlisberger now off the bootleg. Caught here by Bell. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. It'll be a gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
On 2nd down, Roethlisberger. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Now it's Roethlisberger. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Fourth down. Here's Roethlisberger. And my goodness, this is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Redskins defense going to take over on the turnover on downs.
Well, we got a second here after that incompletion. Let's have a little fun. I know you saw Ryan Fitzpatrick's get up in the post-game press conference after week 2.
And we're not talking about the beard this time.
No, well, that was part of the ensemble.
We're talking about the trappings, aren't we?
How about that outfit? Those were Deshaun Jackson's clothes, is that right?
That's my understanding. Clothes, jewelry, shades, the whole deal. He came out and paid homage to his guy who got him a 75-yard touchdown pass in the game, and everyone had a ball with it. Media, team, Fitzpatrick, you name it. I'm sure Deshaun Jackson got a kick out of it as well. Personally, I thought he raided your closet because when I saw him come out, I said, hold a second. That's how Brandon dresses when we leave the ball game.
My favorite thing, though, from all of this was the social media posts that had 2 different pictures. On the left, it was his freshman year at Harvard. Looked like the All-American boy. And then that press conference photo on the right. You want to talk about the alter ego of somebody? That was it right there.
A huge play there for Washington. 54 yards. To play in a tightly contested first half. Back to FedEx Field following this short break. First down, here's the run with Peterson. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
Yeah, that was a safety that came through and made the play, but there's no doubt in my mind he hits like a linebacker, and we see a lot of that in today's NFL, don't we?
And that time we do indeed. A big hit for a loss.
Completes it right side to Dodson. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Throwing on third down, Smith. And that is incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on third down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a fourth down decision.
So now on fourth down, the Redskins will hand things over to their kicker, Dustin Hopkins. From the right hash, it's a 35-yard attempt. And Hopkins' kick is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. Well, maybe a little bit of an anxious moment there as that ball got closer and closer, but it does curl in.
Yeah, actually did a little bit of a slow dance there with the left upright, didn't it? But had just enough space, as you said, for it to curl in.
Following the made field goal for 3, Hopkins now to kick it off. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. The Steelers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field, and he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker, you've got to make sure you nurse him through and say, okay, don't worry about it. When we need you, you've got to be ready to go. And the team, of course, loves to see points on the board. So let's see if it changes a little bit if they're in the same spot again.
Yeah, we'll see what the decision is here if they get to that spot.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes and they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. So it looks like somebody may have forgotten the snap count, and a 5-yard penalty ensues. They get the tackle, Marcus Gilbert, second-round pick back in 2011 out of Florida. The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Out of the gun, it's Roethlisberger. Open man is Switzer, complete. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Throwing again, it's Roethlisberger. Out to the flat, that's complete to his running back. And he goes out of bounds, it looks like right at the 50. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. From midfield now, here's Roethlisberger. Over the middle, hauled in by Smith-Schuster. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. A big play there. 50 yards. And the Steelers are able to strike for 6.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Marty looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
Extra point put through by Boswell, and the lead is now 14-10. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. Now the Redskins offense, they get set to go back to work here. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Smith on first down. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he is out of bounds on the other side of midfield. A very solid gain of 27.
Quarterbacks love slant routes because the receivers are breaking right into their line of vision, and receivers love them as well because they're getting the ball on the move and able to catch it and try and get upfield and gain additional yardage.
On 1st and 10, Smith. Crowder's got it over the middle. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1.
Double. 15.
From the red zone now, Smith. And he's got his man. That's Crowder for the Redskins touchdown. Jamison Crowder in the final seconds of the first half. And the Redskins are able to strike for 6.
Here's Hopkins now out to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. The Steelers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. The Redskins in a good spot. They've got the lead. They will get the football as the second half gets underway. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out now come the Redskins. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ballgame.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else. I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
12. Hey, back up.
To throw on second down is Smith. And he almost had it defensively. Could have been a game changer there in this second half. Instead, it's third down. Just his second incompletion so far. He's 8 for 10. I think he'll take 80%.
There's no doubt that he will, but if you're the defensive play caller, you better circle what you just dialed up on your play sheet and come back to it because you just caused an incompletion. You need a few more of those.
So after the second down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6.
Let's go. Hey, back up. 15. Yep, rip.
Throwing is Smith. Jordan Reed has it. And some room to maneuver. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this into enemy territory across the 40. And that one results in 35 yards. Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 36. Here's Smith on the move to his left. And he drops this off to Thompson, complete. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up second down. So he rolls out of the pocket left, just ends up finding a safety valve, but no gain there.
No gain, but it looked like they were well coached on the play because he still went through his progressions, and the receivers know that when the quarterback exits the pocket, they have defined routes to run now to get into his sight lines and try and help him out. End up throwing it short to the running back. Give the defense credit for not giving up any yardage.
He has a first down, and that catch will also put him over 100 yards receiving now on the afternoon. They give it to Peterson. And not much. Maybe a yard down to the 23.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
15, yeah. Hey, back up.
Here's Smith now on second down. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. Cameron Hayward able to drop him for a loss of 4.
Hey, back up.
Third and long, it's Smith. Eluding the pressure right. Looking for his tight end read, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 18. He's at the 50. The 30. The 20. And he brings this one back. It's a pick six for a Steeler touchdown. Short throw pick six right there. Those linebackers, they love when those short throws come and those eyes get real wide, don't they?
How about the anticipation on the play? Reading, reacting, and then the ability to catch the football and take it in the opposite direction.
Boswell good with the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession. And last time, decent field position through the pick six. Obviously costly.
But they can't afford to just bunker in now. All right, good field position means go ahead and attack on offense. Try and press the advantage a little bit. They just have to be better with the football on this possession.
So that didn't bother you too much last time?
No, because it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't have good field position, not try to take advantage of it. Sometimes the defense makes a good play, too.
Play clock down to 0, and this is not the way to start a drive. They were trying to create some space to run. They created the penalty.
And you work on it so much. You work on it so hard. But it's tough to simulate game speed in practice. That often runs you into a penalty.
The delay of game backs him up 5, 1st and 15.
Hey, let's roll.
To throw is Smith. And that's off the mark, incomplete. He was looking for Jamison Crowder there. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, with that incompletion, we've got to talk about the ties that we've seen in weeks 1 and 2. Everyone was talking about the Steelers-Browns week 1, Charles, but week 2 we saw another. The game that you had, Vikings and Packers.
Yeah, and do you know something? They tied at 29. You know, it's the first time teams have tied with the score 29-29 in NFL history, so another little oddity that you throw in there. But I think the common characteristic between the Vikings, Packers, and the Steelers-Browns from week 1, kicking. The kicking game got both games really affected in a big way. The Browns could have won, had a field goal blocked. The Vikings could have won. Their field goal kicker missed 3. And Mason Crosby, the Packers, made 1. But the Vikings had called timeout. He had to do it again, and he missed. So there you go. 2 ties in the first 2 weeks.
First time that's happened since 1971.
Give the tackle there to Morgan Burnett. Defense able to get there, swarm to the football. Zilch, 0 nada there for the offense, Charles.
Yeah, it really was an example of good team defense, wasn't it? Everyone handled their responsibilities, and they held them to no gain.
Orange. 15, yeah. Block. Switch.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Smith. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
So 4th and 15, but the offense is staying out there to go for it.
Good list. Orange. Eddie. Wide, 80. Go. Tiger.
They're going to go for it. It's Smith. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by the former first-rounder Artie Burns. And they will finally put it into the return, but not until he takes it back all the way inside the 10-yard line. Charles, when plays like that work, it's a thing to behold, but sometimes we see why they're very deep in the playbook.
And how many times have we been at practice and heard all the other guys chirping about, you know, I used to play quarterback in high school, I can do this, until it becomes a game situation. Not quite the same in many cases.
Now Bell, and he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal.
And that last carry puts him right at 100 yards for the game. So how has he done it? Because he's been patient, followed his blocks, let everything develop, and then burst through for big gains.
The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal. Now Roethlisberger goes underneath for Bell. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. Back now at FedEx Field. It's Steeler football, and they have the lead as well as we begin quarter number 4. A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Play clock down to 5, and they're going to burn a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. From the gun, it's Roethlisberger. Flush to his right. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Monte Nicholson picks it.
Well, I get what he was trying to do. He was moving to his right and trying to shift the coverage, but instead he shifted the coverage also to the right and threw right into it for an interception.
Double. Everyone's got 4 down. Hey, let's go yellow.
After the interception, here's Smith. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And they'll get him down here at the 23. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and that'll make it a 2nd down. Smith now to throw. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Stephon Tuitt in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
Here's Smith. Finding his safety valve here. It's complete. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. It'll be a gain of 12, but it will also lead to 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
Now Smith. He's got the 1st down and more past the 40 and all the way up to the 46. 4th down, no problem. 19 yards that time, but now it's 1st and 10. They'll run with Thompson. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Hey, back up.
On second down, here's Smith. And the Steeler pressure too much here. He's going to go down. Stephon Tuitt, the former Notre Dame man, in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon. Smith, he'll buy some time right. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. And he'll go out of bounds. It appears right at the 45. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
I thought he did a pretty good job there to get back what he could, but let's face it, that sack on second down, talk about throwing a wrench into the works. He certainly did.
Yeah, he did everything he could there trying to pick up some positive yardage, and he did, but not enough.
Desperation time for Smith on 4th down. And no, it's incomplete. Jay Gruden's guys unable to convert on 4th down. And the Steelers, they're going to take over an excellent field position. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. Looking at this situation, if they get a field goal out of this, it helps, but a touchdown would really help into going to secure the victory.
You know what I'm thinking right here? In the West Coast offense, in their parlance, every time they throw the football, they say you're either throwing it for a touchdown or a check down. In this case, it's either taking time off the clock or getting that touchdown that really puts you in firm control. I think they'll go either way on this one.
Now Roethlisberger to throw on second down. It's complete to Brown, right side. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this.
The Steelers on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6.
From the shotgun, it's Roethlisberger toward the sideline, and he will have the 1st down as he was able to keep the feet in bounds. Roethlisberger hooking up with Brown to get the Steelers a 1st. Roethlisberger now 13 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10. First carry for James Conner. And a short gain down to about the 33. Tackle made there by Zach Brown.
Well, they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
Oh, Roethlisberger going to throw. This is Bell on the dump off. And inside the 20 before he's